Okay, so let's start um, a discussion about how to. This is a video about how we can handle meets and what to do and what not to do, in my opinion, when handling someone in a powerlifting meet. So this will be an analysis of a lifter who I and my friend and my very good friend, Dr. Strength. You can follow him on Instagram. He's on Instagram. You can write Dr. Space Strength, and you will find his profile. He has a gym, House of Grit, which is a very good place where we can train together. So you can visit if you are in Kolkata. You can visit it as well. So and he's an experienced lifter. So I had the opportunity to handle the meet and handle a lifter with him, and I also learned a lot, and this will be my insight to what I learned and how to kind of what I think we should aspire to do in a meet handling kind of a situation when you are handling someone, an athlete who is potentially going to finish in a podium, second, third, or even going for the gold medal. So that is a kind of a different kind of scenario where instead of things like a new lifter, so and they will kind of finish at top 10, and that would be a good result for them, and they're competing for the first time. The lifter we are going to talk about here is a veteran of the sport, and she has multiple times went to the nationals in what happens in India, the national meet which happens in India in powerlifting. This is Powerlifting India Federation, which is the most competitive federation in India. There are other good federation as well, but yeah. So let's start. So kudos to Dr. Strength for allowing me to handle this athlete with me. So, and I learned a lot. So yeah, let's start with the introduction. So this was our lifter, and our state was WB, which is West Bengal, and we come from West Bengal. So this was our lifter, Nilanjana Majumdar. She is quite a veteran athlete. This came on to be her best ever performance in national meet, and it was pretty good, and we handled her for the first time. So let's start. So she finished. So the results were she finished at runners up, just 5 kgs behind the winner ultimately, and it was a pretty intense fight, as you can see. I mean, it's just 5 kg. I mean, the first top two are just 5 kgs behind, and I mean the third and fourth finish are literally the same. It's just more on body weights, like 1 point few something north of a 1 kilo body weight. So that was pretty intense. So this was arguably, in my opinion, the most interesting and competitive weight class in the entire 2025 SBD meet. I've seen other categories, and those were also, all the categories were extremely competitive, but this one, in my opinion, had the least margin. I mean, if you look at like 69 open, the margin is high. If you look at 84, I mean, the margin is pretty high here as well. In females, if you go above, go for 57, I mean that's again a pretty good margin. 52, that's again a big margin, and 47, that's again a pretty big margin. I mean, top 3. But if you go for our 63 athlete, this is as close as it gets, really. I mean, she missed her. I mean, we will talk about what happened in the third attempt in squats. That was pretty, not controversial maybe, but kind of confusing for us. I'll not say controversial. I will say, let's be politically correct and say it was confusing for us, what happened in this third squat attempt. I mean, we'll talk about this, then you people can decide what to make out of it. So it was quite confusing for me, um, at least. So yeah, so that was 5 kgs here, and you can see that was a 5 kg jump over here, 137.5, second attempt to 142.5. If she got it, she would tie with the leader, and her body weight was just, I mean, this is as low as it gets. This is as competitive as it gets. This is fine margins maximized. This is not even 0.1 kilos. This is 0.8 kilos difference. Like, and this is pretty interesting. And the first point I would like to make here is, if you are an athlete in powerlifting, and you are going to be competitive, you are going to move, you are going to have a competition for the podium finish, at least first, second and third, and you kind of know that this is where you are going to be, the first thing I would say is to try to be the least in body weight of the top 3. I mean, if somebody is weighing in at 58.2, that's kind of not feasible, because that's too less. That's going to be too much of a disadvantage. If you are like, if your body weight is like 64 off season, 65 off season, I mean, if your body weight is 65 off season, I mean, it's not feasible to go to like 59, something like that. That's going to be a disadvantage probably. But at least try to be 0.5 kgs behind the range. Like, if you're competing in 63, you're not going to lose a lot if you just, I mean, if you're really not going to lose a lot of things, like a lot of strength, if you weigh in 0.5 kgs less than what you usually weigh. So if you are trying to weigh in at 62.9, how much are you really going to lose anything if you lose a little bit more and weigh in? Like, you can literally spit using a candy, and you can literally spit out 0.4 kgs. It's nothing. It's like 20 minutes before competition, you wake up 20 minutes before competition, you see your weight as 62.9, and you just start spitting and you are 62.5 or 62.4. It's like that simple. 20 minutes, nothing, just spit out the 0.5, 0.4, 0.5 kgs, and you have right here a massive advantage. I mean, if she got, like our lifter Nilanjanadi got this right, I mean, she would have won. Like, she kind of weighed in almost as a 63. I mean, it's very, very near to 63, 62.92. So if she could spit a little bit out and lose that 0.3, 0.4 kilos, I mean, she would have been safe. She would have been safe and she would win. So you kind of are gambling on the fact that, well, I will lift 2.5 kgs more than someone who is going to match my total. So if you are weighing too high, that is the biggest, not biggest, but that is a big disadvantage, because you kind of have to now lift 2.5 kgs at least if you're not going for national record. If you're not going for that, I mean, you can chip in 1 kilo over there, but if you're not going for that, then you kind of have to lift 2.5 kgs more than somebody who is going to match your total. That's 100%. So that's one big thing which I realized, and this was my first national handling experience. And yeah, so moving on, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the performance. So squat first attempt, we took 127.5. Pretty simple. Yeah, it was pretty simple, and it was very easy for her. I mean, it was like RP 6, 7 for her, 7, and which, I mean, RP 7 is kind of what we should aspire as to do as a first attempt. I mean, for squats, I would say, tell my athletes to go even lower. Like, it should be like an RP 6, unless you are very, very experienced, multiple meets in your under your belt. I mean, if you are kind of a new to the sport, then squat is the one which is the squat first attempt is the first thing you are going to do on stage. You're going to be nervous unless you are extremely emotionally resilient. You are going to be nervous on the meet. That's as simple as that. So the squat first attempt kind of has to be, and especially if you are a nervous lifter, you kind of have to be very careful of what the first attempt of squat is going to be. If you miss that first attempt, if your depth is bad, if you get a red light, that's going to make you very, very anxious for your squat second and third attempt, and you are kind of gambling, you're kind of putting kilos away. So first squat attempt has to be very easy, very easy. Not the same for deadlift first attempt, it may not be the same, but squat first attempt, in my opinion, has to be some weight that even if you do not wear a belt, no wrist strap, no knee sleeves, you're going to do it. You're going to do that weight. No knee sleeve. If you go to the port, if you are thrown in that stage and you have no knee sleeves, no wrist straps, no belt, you can easily do this first attempt. That should be what you should aspire to do your first attempt. So yeah, moving on, she passed it pretty good, and let's watch the second attempt of squats. Let's see, it's my folder. Okay, so it's not in my folder, we didn't record it, so let's move on to the live. So we will watch it from the live. Let's see. Yep, first attempt. Yeah, that's a second attempt. That's a second attempt. Here comes our lifter. So yeah, zero. So this is basically zero height, no pins. That is a good disadvantage. You should aspire to be the shortest in your weight class. That is again in powerlifting, the shorter you are in your weight class, the biggest advantage you have. That's absolutely true. Kind of true. I mean, not always. Maybe not always, but maybe 70% of the time. Yeah. Here comes our lifter. So let me tell you. So we'll talk about the third attempt. What happened? Let me show you first, because it was confusing to us. Let me show you why it was confusing to us. The third attempt. Let's take a look on her attire and her apparel. Proper gap in between the singlet and the top of the knee sleeves, which is a rule. Big enough gap, right? Big enough gap here as well. Socks and bottom of the knee sleeves. There is no issue with the t-shirt. The wrist wraps are properly worn. No ring over the thumb, which is an issue. This is as perfect as it gets. This is a lifter who has gone to nationals 7 times. She knows what to do before going on the stage. She knows exactly what to do before going on the stage, because she knows if there is no gap between the top of the knee sleeves and the bottom of the singlet, she's going to be stopped. And that's what happens in powerlifting. There is someone who is standing over here, over this area, who is going to check, and that's a person from this federation, and they're going to check your attire, your singlet, your sleeves, and make sure everything is on point before you go on the stage. There's one issue with that. Your clock will be started the moment this bar is loaded. The judges and the people who are the announcer will just announce your name, and your clock will be started. You have 60 seconds, by the way, in powerlifting to complete your lift. If you don't do it in 60 seconds, it's a no lift. Your lift is missed. So the lift, it doesn't matter, it's your mistake. If you have any issue with your apparel, if attire, knee sleeves, socks, wrist straps, that's not their fault, that's your fault. That's you not understanding the rules of the game. That is why it's very important for lifters and coaches and handlers to read the IPF rule book. It's available for free on the internet. It's pretty small. Just read it, just go through it once. It's very simple. That's very, very important. Otherwise, you are going to face multiple problems in the meet. And I've seen other lifters face, like good lifters, miss lifts because of that. Very good lifters, very talented, and the female weight class this year was incredible. I mean, it was even, I would say it was more interesting than the males. I mean, the male 83, I mean, there are two people who everybody know who's going to win. I mean, who are going to come top two. Nobody knew who was going to win. But like in the female weight class, it's like nobody knows. Like nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows who is going to win, except for maybe Nami Rai, who was in 57. Like she's levels above everybody else, and Sweta Ray, who was like the champion of champions in women, so she's like levels above 99 point some dots, so she's levels above everybody else. Everybody knew she's going to win. Other than that, it's kind of like we don't know what's going to happen because everybody is competing for top 3, everybody. And that's exactly what happened in 63. This is like 5 people competing for podium. This is I have, and me, who is going to handle someone, like co-handle someone like with someone else. Even that is hard for the first time. I mean, that was hard for me, but I did it kind of okay. I think we did a good job, both of us. So let's start. Yeah, you see, this is again, the clock has been started, and she's coming from equilibrium. It's not, I'm not criticizing the lifter at all. She's very good, but she's coming from equipped, and in equipped, people take a lot of time to set up, and that's kind of something which because she's competing raw now, she has taken those things from equipped, those behavior what she does, or let's not say behavior, like that mental beginning, that mental setup, what she needed in equipped, she kind of transferred it to raw, which kind of is not needed in my opinion. Because in equipped, if you like, you have to be really careful with the squats. Like it's like you imagine your knee cannot even bend, so if you are even a little bit here and there, you can literally collapse, and like bad injuries happen in equipped squats. Bad injuries, like people can literally like go to the hospital, spine breaks, and even they can, like, even death can happen, and death has happened in equipped squats. So it's very dangerous. Equipped is much more dangerous than raw. I'm going to tell you that. It's very dangerous. In an equipped squat, like, anything can happen. Even in an equipped bench press, it's if you're lowering the bar, and you're wearing a suit which is like kind of this tight, like extremely tight. So if the bar path just misses and it comes here, it's going to land on your neck. That is playing with life, by the way. Equipped lifting is playing with life. That's not for the faint-hearted at all. Let's put it that way. But now raw is getting more recognition, and which is okay. Like, yeah, you don't need 5 people to set you up for raw lifting. So kind of makes sense why raw is so popular now. You can do it alone. You cannot do equipped alone. So, and both are extremely good, and both have their pros and cons. Both have their good and bad. We cannot compare both, but yeah. So my point was here, don't waste time setting up here. Have you seen SBD? If you have seen SBD Sheffield, if you have seen IPF worlds, the elite athletes don't waste time. Like, you come in, you don't waste time here. You have 60 seconds, the timer is on. 60 seconds is not a long time, by the way. It's not a long time. You need to be ready before, in the sport of powerlifting, you have to be ready before coming here. Before coming here, like before the clock has been started, you have to be ready. So that is very important in the sport of powerlifting, because you have 60 seconds before a lift. Like, timer has started, bar has been loaded, you have 60 seconds. So before all that, you have to be ready mentally. What you cannot do is kind of like see. That's fine. You're seeing the grip width. That's fine. That's good. That you should be aware of that. But kind of do it a little bit faster, because the time is kind of is started. And also, you have to be ready at least 20 seconds before the clock has been started. So you have, in the board, you are seeing your name going up, because now you are going to lift. So you have to be ready 20 seconds before. And I would recommend, do not wear a prong belt. It takes time to wear a prong belt. Nothing against a prong belt. It works kind of like the same as a SBD liver belt. But in a liver belt, you do not have to waste time before wearing this. This was taking time, and you cannot judge how much time it is going to take. So wear a liver belt. It's much more easier to do. And don't set your belt before, like, in the stage. This is not what you should do. And I'm not criticizing the lifter, but this is not what you should do. This is wasting time. This is like, you now in your mind are getting anxious of the fact that the time is, like, the announcer is going to 30 seconds past, and now you're anxious. That is going to make a lift bad. So make sure you're ready before 20 seconds before the clock starts. You come here, you lift as fast as possible, but you should take your time, but as effectively and fast as possible, and then go. That should be your motto. Otherwise, there is a chance of error. So let's see what happens. Yep, she kind of takes time. She comes under the bar. Yep. Yeah, and as I said, this is a bit too much of a time taken. That is kind of 20 seconds. So I would recommend her to kind of shorten that gap from 20 seconds to maybe 15 or 10 seconds, and that is pretty doable. But she'll learn. She's new to Raw. She needs that time now, but she will be much better. She has very high potential for lifting. Sure. Yep. So, as I said, she came from equipped, and you would think that is a pretty slow descent. And she does that, but it's kind of difficult to judge, because equipped people like descend very slow. They have to. So those kind of things are carried over to her raw lifting. But this was pretty easy for her. It was pretty easy. Yep. Also, one more thing. Yeah. So that is experience. I mean, she waits before that squat command. Even when they give the command, like, notice this. Even when they give the command, she doesn't do it immediately. That is another margin of error. You shouldn't be like, okay, the moment they says rack, I'm going to go. No, wait 2 more seconds. That's exactly what she does. And that's what comes with experience. She doesn't immediately go. She looks, okay, I'm going to re-rack now. And this is kind of a gesture to the loaders that, bro, please help me unrack the bar. And they do that exactly. So that's waiting 2 seconds, and the judges will not. It's easier for the judges to give a white light and not a red light for the unrack. Yeah, pretty good. It's a good lift. 3 white lights, no issues. something was told to her by the jury. I don't know what. I actually don't know what. This is the first time I'm seeing it. I have to go and ask her. What did the jury tell you? Well, obviously she's not going to remember that. But let's watch what happened now for the third attempt, which was confusing. It was very confusing for us. Yeah, that's 142.5. Notice one thing. This is another very, very important thing. If the lifter going before you has the same weight loaded, you have to come very much earlier to the starting point, because the loaders are not going to waste time loading or unloading and loading anymore. If she put 140, the loaders could do anything. Like the judges could say, like, okay, remove everything, put 10, because they want the next lifters, the loading and unloading process easier for the next lifters. So they could just say, okay, loaders, please unload 5, 2.5 and 1.25 and just put 10 on the bar. Or it's not possible to put 10 on the bar, so that's a bad example, because they will always use these 2.5 kg locks, because they are much safer and they don't have those plastic 0 kilo locks. So yeah, imagine if our lifter was lifting 145 and she was lifting 140 with 142.5, and our lifter was lifting 145, they would have just told the loaders, okay, unload and load 10 and 2 and the lock, that's 145. That's 145, and that's exactly what the judges would tell the lifters to do. Here it's 142.5. The load is same. Our lifter had the same load. You have to recognize this as something important and come even earlier than you are supposed to come, so that you have time by your side. If you do not have time by your side in squats, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard to lift. It's not easy when you see the clock has started in that national podium and it's kind of silent. People are not hyping you that much, and you're looking at the clock and it's like it says 28 seconds left. That's panic mode on. That is panic mode on, and you really don't want that to happen. And in squats, you need that time to make you create that shelf, that feel the bar and all those things. That we can go deep down on how to minimize that, how to tactically minimize your unrack. You can see elite athletes do that all the time, but you really don't want time running out, and in your mind you're thinking, okay, time is running out, now I have to do this lift fast. In squats, at least in squats. It applies to both the three lifts, but at least in squats you really don't want that. So make sure you get the full 60 seconds when they call your name and you are in. That's something very important. And what happened was, she did 142.5, the lifter before us. That's incredible depth, but well tried. Kudos to her. Very, very well tried. Very, very well tried. Now here comes the issue. Like I said, they do not have to unload. It's ready. 142 is ready. They can start the clock now. They won't look. The announcer won't look. They will just start the clock. Bar loaded. That's it. Clock started. Seconds are running out. That's exactly why you have to be even. You have to come even earlier than if you see the person above you has the same load, you have to come earlier. That's it. And it can get pretty crowded in the Indian context. It will get crowded. It does get crowded, because there is only one TV, and every coach, handlers are looking at that TV. It's crowded. So those things matter, and those things have mattered. But one mistake again, I talked to her. What happened is that prong belt, and as I said, you need an SBD lever belt. It's very important. It's much more efficient when it comes to like wearing it. You don't waste barely seconds you need to waste to wear that. In a prong belt, somebody has to hold it, so, and you come like, it's difficult. It takes seconds. It takes 20 seconds, 30 seconds to wear that thing. And that's exactly what happened. It was not fitting properly. They were not, like, she was not able to fit it properly, and she was late. She was not late, but 15 seconds late. That's 45 seconds remaining. Let's see what happens.
142.5, same bar load.
Same bar load. We were shouting, this is, look, make it 0.
Coaches are requested not to give coaching on the side.
Make the height 0. The clock was started.
Bar loaded.
Bar loaded.
Niranjana Majumdar.
But the clock was started earlier, in my opinion. That's probably a mistake.
Rani and Neha.
Because if they announced her name earlier, I mean, if the rack height is not what we said it should be, I mean, the clock should restart again, and that should happen. But they started the clock before, in this time, like, yeah, this is 5:27:13.
And Neha.
Announced her name, clock started 5:27:15.
4 more need to go.
Bar has been started, clock has been started. Okay, this is, they already made it to 0. Let's start earlier. Yeah, let's.
42.5, same bar load.
Same bar load. Clock start. Clock has been started. Let me show you how intense it can get. 5:26:49. Her name was called. Clock has been started. 26:49. Started.
Coaches are requested not to give coaching on the side.
Yep. And they are making it 0 now. That's time gone. But the clock has started. Now they will announce. Bar loaded. Yep. How many seconds passed? You could just calculate it. That's lost seconds. Nobody is going to tell you that. That's why somebody has to shout, because, and the loaders were doing a very good job, and it's not their fault. It's really not their fault. You have to tell the loaders, bro, make it 0 height. The moment the announcer says bar has been loaded, or same load, Niranjana Majumdar next lifter, that moment you have to direct, somebody has to direct the loaders, make it 0, and you have to say that. You have to be assertive enough, and you have to say that over and over again, so that they because they are doing it. When you are loading, and I have done loading in my district, in my state competition, when you are doing loading, you kind of lose. Like, you're doing it constantly. It's like, okay, what am I going to do? How much am I going to put? You cannot. Somebody has to direct you what to do, because you cannot do so many things in milliseconds, or in seconds. So somebody has to direct you, bro, make it 0, and they will make it 0. That's again lost seconds. As I said, nobody is going to give you that back. Already 15 seconds gone.
Niranjana Majumdar.
Yeah, name called again.
Next, Kulbu, Rani and Neha.
Yeah. This is where she was stopped. That was confusing for us. This is where this gets confusing. She was stopped by the person who was checking the apparel, and as you saw earlier, there was no issues whatsoever with her singlet. She knows very well what to wear. How she should wear her singlet. if there should be gap, how much gap there should be between a singlet, between her socks and knee sleeves. She did all these things perfectly, yet she was stopped to be checked and examined. Okay, that was confusing to me. I will not say controversial. I just would say it was confusing for me. I don't know what to do. And when you are stopped, the clock is running. The clock is running. Nothing you can do is going to stop that clock now, because now it's all the lifter's fault. If she stopped, it's the lifter's fault. It's not anybody else's fault. The clock will run and the time will run out, and this is your third attempt in squats, which is arguably the heaviest squat you are going to do, and you need time by your side when you are going to attempt your heaviest ever squat in national podium. So yep, she was stopped.
More need to go.
A few times ago I was talking that the clock has been started. Could you see how much seconds have been passed? I think it was, when I said it was started, I think a little bit, some seconds after it was started. It was not started at that time. I don't remember exactly which timestamp exactly when it was started, obviously. But it was started around that time, and it was 26 something. So let's say the clock started at 27:05 or 27:10 seconds. That's 32 seconds past. You have 28 seconds left, and when you have 28 seconds left, you need to hurry up. Hurry the hell up. And it's not see, this is fine. Maybe you could say it's a bit more lower than the previous two lifts. It was a little bit too lower, but you could clearly see that, like, the separation. That's the IPF rule. That's the IPF rule. You have 28 or less than 30 seconds remaining. The lifter kind of cannot, like, when you're lifting, this is only something which powerlifters can understand. Even someone who is coaching for a long time, they cannot understand this. You don't know how it feels when you have 30 seconds to go and it's your third squat attempt. You don't know that. You have no idea. If you are not into competitive powerlifting, you have really no idea how it feels like unless you have gone through it. I know I have gone through it. So you are really anxious now, and it's very difficult to hurry up. You don't really understand what to do now. You are confused and you don't know what to do. Tension is rising, anxiety is rising. You are questioning what is life, what is the meaning of life. Anyway, so yeah, she kind of got tensed even as a veteran lifter, and she had to hurry a bit up. I think by this time she kind of realized, yeah, I am going to get timed out, but it's okay. But kind of, the handler can just say hurry up. But I mean, that could be counterproductive as well. If she hurry up, she can do something bad. She cannot create the shelf properly, and then she misses anyway, which is probably worse than being timed out, because now you have that extra fatigue in your squat, in your bench and deadlift. So it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. So yeah, bad situation to be in, and she was in a bad situation. Yeah, somebody, like a person in our team was shouting, okay, let's not lift. Yep.
Time out, no lift.
No lift.
127.
And you lose 5 Important, crucial, winning kilos. Just like that. Just like that. 5 kilos gone. There's nothing you can do about it. That's why it's very important to understand the rules of the game. What could go wrong? I mean, if she was stopped when, like, if you, like, imagine if she came, like, before time with a liver belt. Like, yeah, they could stop her, but even if she was stopped, she still could have 40 seconds remaining. But now she was in a situation where it was like 20 seconds, 25 seconds remaining. So, I mean, it's like you give up. Like, no way in the world I'm going to lift my third squat attempt in within 20 seconds. Like, you're kind of like, yeah, it's over. It's over. It's finished. Finito. It's finished. The third attempt is gone, and I know it's gone. But I still try. Let's see what happens. And you can see it in her face. Like,
Time out, no lift.
yeah, it's like acceptance. She didn't even question anyone or like, why? Oh my God. No, it's acceptance. This is acceptance. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to squat my heaviest ever squat within 20 seconds. It's just not possible for me. And this is acceptance. She didn't even, like, no reaction. Yeah, I accept. I accept, which is fine, which is good, which is a good quality to have. Like, why do you want to waste your energy on complaining? And this is what you also don't want to do. You don't want to waste energy on complaining to the judges, to the juries, to the, like, officials. There's no point. Like, it's gone, it's over, finished, finito. Just accept it, move on to bench, do as good as possible in bench, do as good as possible in deadlifts. That's it. That's what you can do. So let's move on to, this is a pretty big video now. I think I'm doing well in conversing my thoughts. I think I'm not that good in English, but I'm trying. Bench second attempt, 75. Let's move on to that. Nothing much to talk about bench, really. The most things to talk about was deadlifts. So, and the most thing to talk about was squats, and that is probably most important. And that's why I moved on, like, went on to explain it so much longer. 75 kilo. Second attempt. Yup. Yeah. So yeah, this was kind of top end for her. That's top end. There's nothing left in the tank for bench, but we still went for 77. It failed. Let's not go into that. It's just failed. It's top end for her. Deadlift first attempt, 137.5. Let's just see it. It's very easy for her. She's a great deadlifter. That's empty bar. That's empty bar. Nothing to say about this, really. Let's see the score sheet now. What happens when you have done the deadlift first attempt? Yep, somebody else did 137.5. Who was that? The person on the top. And you kind of have the medal on. Yeah, we have the medal on bench. So individual lift medal secured. We are not going home with nothing at this point. So we can kind of, she obviously will go and fight for the finish, but kind of relieved that something is in our bag already. And she's a good bench presser, as you can see. It's just 2.5 kgs behind this, and if she got this, it was gold medal in bench for her because body weight is lower. So again, you can lose medals even in individual lifts if you have a bit too high body weight, like close to the end margin, very close, almost near the end margin. So yeah, she was about to lose her the person who became first was about to lose a medal if our lifter did 77.5. But kudos to her, very good bench, 77.5 as 63, great performance. So after the first attempt, so let's look at her second attempt. She was 5th in deadlift, by the way. That's not, she's a good deadlifter, but in national standards, that's, again, there are big fishes in the nationals. And if you can see closely, let's zoom in. Okay, people are doing 167, people are doing 157, people are doing, okay, so see, 162, there is 1%. So I mean, deadlifts, people are strong in deadlifts. So by placing 5th in deadlifts, by placing 2nd in bench, and by placing 5th in squats, by the way, if she did this 142.5, she would place at 3rd, would she? Let's check the body weight. Yeah, once again she could get the bronze medal in squats if she did that 142.5, because the person who won bronze medal in squats weighed 62.90, which is again extremely close to the end range, and our lifter was 0.6 kgs less. Again, that is why before the day of the competition, be very careful. This is national stage. This is not easy anymore. This is very, very hard. The smallest of margins can take away multiple medals from you. This is the proof of it. Even a 0.6, 0.5, 0.05, 0.08 kg difference in weight can win you 2 medals, 2 individual lifts, or not. I think the video is pretty long. Let's end it fast now. Yeah, anyway, 155, that was a 3rd attempt. Basically, these many people were competing for the 1st place. This person was supposed to win bronze in bench, gold in squats, biggest subtotal of everyone. This person was supposed to win the game. That's what we predicted. Her body weight was the least. Not the least, but yeah, 59.64. She would match us and she would win. But then something happened. I don't know if it was flare up, because she was extremely good. Her lifts were extremely impressive. I think that she had more on the tank in the squats and bench. But then something maybe flared. I don't know what happened. I am not sure. But she missed her 2nd and 3rd deadlift attempts, and she became out of the position. She came outside top 3 in body weight. Isn't that harsh, by the way? That you weigh in at in a 63 kg class 3.5 kgs less than the range and still lose on body weight. That is harsh. I mean, that's harsh. That's harsh. That's really harsh. But well, multiple things happen in competition, and you have to think within 10 seconds. The handler has to think all of this. This is 1 hour plus video, by the way, and I was thinking these things in not only me. Obviously, I have a much experienced person helping me, but we were thinking it within seconds. These all things, and that is very hard. Meat handling is extremely hard. That is why Matt Gary is called the GOAT, because he does it the best. Nobody comes close to Matt Gary, and I am his biggest fan. So all this I have learned from him. I mean, by listening to him. Obviously, how will I know myself? Um, all these things, but yeah. Leveled on total, lost by 1 point some kilos in body weight. Yeah. By the way, GL points. If you look at that, that person who came third has more GL points, but it doesn't matter really at that point, unless you are going for the best lifter overall. I mean, it really doesn't matter. So don't be too light. Let's say it's a disadvantage, because you're just barely 7.5 kgs behind the. I mean, she can win 4 tons bench, 4 ton squats. I mean, she could win it in deadlifts if she put on a little bit more kilos, 2-3 kilos in her off season in her training. I mean, like, couldn't she do 7.5 kgs more? I think she should. In my opinion, she should, and win and match this and win the national. I mean, she could go away with she could go away with 3 medals instead of 1. Or 2, like she won 2, so she could go away with 3 medals if she wanted to. Yeah, that's the job of a coach. That's the job of people handling you, not handling you, like whatever you do before the competition. That is the job, and this is not easy anymore. This is a highly competitive sport. Yeah, that's what it was. We took 155, and we took 2.5 kgs more than this person who lifted 157.5. They went for bronze. They didn't try to, because they were pulling after us. So 155, 157.5. They looked our attempt, and they decided, okay, let's go for a bronze finish. And they looked at this lifter as well, probably. So let's go for a bronze finish. Like, she was losing, like she was not losing. She was like 147, and she she did her third attempt before us doing our third attempt, obviously. So she and her team looked at it, and they were like, I mean, that's a good decision to take. I think maybe if she doesn't have 160, let's not go for 160 and lose the third position finish and a bronze medal and a bronze in deadlifts. Let's not do that. Let's be safe and take 5 more kilos, secure the third place finish, secure the deadlift third place finish. And that's what they did. That's good coaching. That's good handling in play. Because you can be tempted to take, I think I can do 2.5 kg. Let's put 160 on the bar. Let's do it. Let's go for it. And then you are fourth, and without you are fourth with only a bronze medal. Like, you are fourth with only, you are actually fourth with no medals. You're actually fourth with no medals. Fourth here, no podium finish here. So you're fourth with no medals, by the way. Your one decision in the third attempt of deadlift, you are going home with nothing. One good decision here in the third attempt deadlift, and it's pretty intense. It's going to be pretty intense for everybody. That's the most intense moment for handlers and lifters and everyone. So you need a handler who can, some deep breathing, some meditation, some emotional resilience, not panicking, all those things. Take the right decision here and let your lifter go home with a third place finish here in deadlift, with a third place finish in deadlift, with a bronze medal in deadlift and a bronze medal overall. Take 2 medals home, try again next year. That's a good thing. That's great. That's good handling. Maximum applause to them, what they did. Very impressive. And we take our 155, become second, and we had to lift more than we have to do in total 2.5 kgs more than this person. Because why? She is very light for a 63. So we have to do 2.5 kgs more. There is no other option. We cannot match her and win. If we match her, okay, if we match her, by the way, if we match 365 here, we are going to 4th. And this person is coming to 3rd. Why again? Why, you may ask again? Both of them are lighter than us. So, one bad decision once again, and you are going home with a 4th place finish and a second medal in bench. That's how intense powerlifting gets. Thank you very much. I hope you like it. Please share it if you felt it was helpful. Please, in the comments, please tell me if you liked it, if you think I was wrong, anything. If you want to criticize me, if you want to do whatever, like, just put it in the comments. I'm fine with it. No, just don't give abuses, bro. I think I don't deserve it. But anyway, you can do that. I'm just going to delete that comment. But anyway, if you think I am wrong in somewhere, if you want to correct me, please do it. We won by 2.5 kgs. Let's lastly see the third deadlift attempt. That was what you call top end deadlift, putting everything on the bar, knowing exactly what is your limit today. That's what we did. That's exactly what we did. Extremely intense, brother. This was extremely intense. But I was not shouting because I'm a calm person. I never shout. I'm very, very calm. Not to be egotistical about it, but that's the person who I am. I never get panicked. So yeah, everybody was shouting, "Come on!" Yeah. Putting everything on the bar, nothing left. So, thank you. If you liked it, please subscribe. Please, more content like this is coming. And thank you for watching. If you really bared with me for so long, yapping about powerlifting, there's nothing else than thank you that I can give you. Thank you very much.